In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, peace be upon you. The land of Egypt was under the rule of Sultan Salahuddin Ayubi, may Allah have mercy on him. There was peace across the entire country, and people were living lives of tranquility. The wheat crop was ready, and the farmers were happy to reap the rewards of their hard work. There was hustle and bustle in the markets, royal granaries were filled with wheat, and people were busy preparing for Eid al-Adha. Some were buying animals, while others were selling them. A large animal market was set up in a vacant field near the bazaar. One day, Sultan Salahuddin Ayubi called his capable companion, Ali bin Sufyan, and told him to accompany him on a tour of the city and the granaries, so that he could see the condition of his subjects with his own eyes. Ali bin Sufyan immediately prepared 30 horsemen and departed with the Sultan. As the Sultan entered the bazaar, he began to smile upon seeing the joy and peace everywhere. But suddenly, his gaze fell upon a laborer, and the color of his face changed. Ali bin Sufyan was surprised because the Sultan had been happy just a few moments ago. But why are you worried? The Sultan said that he felt saddened to see a certain laborer. Ali bin Sufyan said that a hard-working person is worthy of respect, so why the worry? The Sultan said that if you were truly a man, it would be a matter of joy, but in reality, she is a girl who is working while disguised in men's clothing. Ali bin Sufyan was amazed because she looked like a real boy to him. The Sultan said that he recognized her by her walk. Hearing this, Ali bin Sufyan was stunned by the Sultan's far-sightedness. The Sultan ordered that after completing the tour of the market and granaries, this girl should be brought to the palace quietly. Later, when the Sultan returned to the palace, Ali bin Sufyan brought the girl there. The girl was still in men's clothing. The Sultan asked her gently why she was working in this condition. The girl asked in surprise that she had been working in the market for 3 months, but no one had recognized her. Then how did the Sultan know? The Sultan said that a ruler who does not understand the condition of his subjects is not a true ruler. Then what kind of ruler is he who does not understand the state of his subjects? Then the girl told her painful life story. She said that her father used to drive a carriage and run a household through hard labor. But 2 months ago, his leg was broken in an accident. Due to poverty, the treatment could not be done, and the household reached the point of starvation. Her elderly mother also remained ill. The girl said that she wanted to work instead of begging. But being a woman, it was difficult to maintain honor in the marketplace. That is why she wore men's clothing. The Sultan became silent after hearing her story. Then he asked her what she wanted. The girl said that she should just be given some work in the palace where her honor would remain safe, and that she could continue to earn an honest living. The Sultan immediately called the treasurer and ordered that she be given gold coins and a respectable job in the palace. Thus, her life began to change, but no one knew that in the coming days, an incident was going to happen to her that would shake the entire palace. After the orders of Sultan Salahuddin Ayubi, may Allah have mercy on him, the girl got a job in the royal palace. She was appointed as a maid in the royal women's bath, where only women could enter. The queen and other royal ladies would bathe there, and special female guests were also served there. The girl was no longer as frightened as she used to be, because inside the palace, her honor was safe. She performed her work with full diligence and honesty and treated everyone with respect. Other maids had also begun to like her. Time passed and the conditions at her home began to improve. Her father's treatment began, and the starvation in the house started to end. The girl often prayed in her heart for Sultan Salahuddin Ayubi, may Allah have mercy on him, for saving her honor. Meanwhile, preparations for Eid were in full swing in the palace. Cleaning was happening everywhere, and special dishes were being prepared in the royal kitchen. One night, the queen suddenly fell ill. She felt nauseous and sent a message through a servant to cool the water in the bath because she wanted to bathe. It was quite late at night, and all the other maids had already left. Only this girl was present there. She heard the message and immediately went towards the bath. She was busy cooling the water when suddenly someone came from behind and held a drug cloth over her mouth. The girl became unconscious within a few moments. When she regained consciousness, her clothes were torn, and seeing the state of her body, it did not take her long to understand that a great injustice had been done to her. She began to cry out in distress. Her world had been devastated, and she was terrified that if this news spread, people would blame her. She began to think of her elderly parents. She thought that perhaps it would be better to remain silent, but then another thought crossed her mind. She realized that if a woman is not safe even inside the royal palace, then this person is very dangerous. If he violated a girl's honor today, tomorrow he could even commit treason against the Sultan or the state. Thinking this, her courage grew, and crying, she went straight to the Sultan's court. As soon as she entered the court, She began to cry loudly and told the Sultan the whole incident. Sultan Salahuddin Ayubi, was filled with anger and astonishment upon hearing this. He immediately asked, what was happening in the bathhouse so late at night? The girl explained that she had gone there on the queen's orders. When the queen was summoned, she said she was feeling unwell, but then fell asleep and could not go to the bathhouse. The Sultan immediately asked the guards if the servant who brought the message was suspicious. But the other soldiers testified that he had returned to his post and gone nowhere else. Now, fear and anxiety had spread through the palace because no one could understand this mystery. Who was the culprit? Sultan Salahuddin Ayubi, decided at once that he would inspect the scene himself. He arrived at the royal bathhouse with a few of his trusted companions. It was night time, and the entire palace was plunged into silence. But inside the bathhouse, a sense of fear could be felt. The Sultan examined everything carefully. His eyes were searching everywhere: the walls, the floor, the water vessels, and the doors. He knew that the criminal had acted with great caution, but he must have made some mistake somewhere. After looking for a long time, the Sultan's eyes suddenly fell upon a mark on the ground. There was only a single footprint present. It was clearly the footprint of a man. The Sultan immediately called for an expert who was skilled in identifying footprints. That person examined the mark closely. Then the Sultan ordered that all the men, servants, soldiers, and attendants in the palace make their footprints on the ground one by one. All the people came one after another and left their prints. But the expert said every time that this mark did not belong to that man. After a long time, he announced that no one present in the palace had a footprint matching this mark. Hearing this, the Sultan became more worried. If it is not a palace man, how did an outsider get in? Reaching the royal bath was not easy. Then the Sultan noticed another strange thing. The bath's special soft slippers were missing, and in their place, a pair of men's shoes was left. The Sultan immediately grabbed the shoes. He realized that to avoid noise, the criminal wore the bath's soft slippers so footsteps wouldn't be heard, leaving his own shoes behind in his haste. The Sultan ordered an inquiry in the palace to identify the shoes, but no one recognized them. Then the Sultan sent soldiers to the cobblers throughout the market. When the soldiers returned the next day, their report shocked the Sultan. The cobblers explained that these shoes are not made in Egypt but are expensive shoes from Arab regions that a common man cannot afford. The Sultan began to suspect that the criminal was surely a high-ranking man. Perhaps he lives near the palace or holds an official position. But the Sultan did not reveal his suspicion to anyone. He then had an announcement made in court that no matter how clever the criminal is, his shoes have become his mark, and he will be arrested by tomorrow. This announcement was made deliberately so that the criminal would become fearful. Then the Sultan ordered one of his capable companions to place those shoes in a location where they were easy to reach. At the same time, the news was secretly spread throughout the palace about where the shoes were kept. The Sultan knew that if the criminal was truly close to the palace or from inside, he would surely come to steal the shoes to destroy the last remaining evidence. Now there was silence in the palace all night, but the Sultan was waiting and hiding with his few loyal soldiers. The night was passing by very slowly. The entire palace was silent, and darkness was spread everywhere. Sultan Salahuddin Ayubi, may Allah have mercy on him, was hiding near a room where those shoes had been placed. A few trusted soldiers were also present with him. There was a stern look on the Sultan's face because he knew that tonight the truth would come to light. It would be revealed who the criminal is. After a while, the sound of slow footsteps could be heard. A person was moving towards that room very cautiously. He looked around to make sure that no one was watching him. Then he approached the closet and reached for the shoes. At that very moment, Sultan Salahuddin Ayubi, may Allah have mercy on him, suddenly appeared and held a sword to his neck. The soldiers accompanying the Sultan immediately came out as well. When the lights were turned on, the Sultan's eyes widened in shock, because the man was no ordinary person, but a close advisor whom the Sultan trusted deeply. The Sultan said in anger that he had always considered him loyal, but he turned out to be a traitor hiding within the palace. The advisor began to tremble with fear. At first, he tried to deny it, but when the Sultan asked in a stern tone and placed the shoes before him, he broke down. He confessed to his crime. He said that he liked the girl, but knew she was self-respecting and would never listen to him. Then, that night, he found out the girl was alone in the bathhouse and the queen had fallen asleep. He saw an opportunity and quietly entered the bathhouse. To avoid making noise, he took off his shoes and put on the soft bathhouse slippers, but in his haste to leave, he left his own shoes behind. He explained that he was sure no one could catch him, but he had forgotten about the Sultan's intellect. Sultan Salahuddin Ayubi, may Allah have mercy on him, became furious upon hearing all this. He stated that for a person entrusted with the safety of the state to commit such oppression makes them the greatest criminal of all. The Sultan immediately ordered that he be thrown into a dungeon and given the harshest punishment. News spread throughout the palace that the criminal had been caught. People began to praise the Sultan's wisdom and sense of justice. On the other hand, the oppressed girl was still immersed in fear and sorrow. But when she learned that the culprit had been arrested, her heart found some peace. The Sultan summoned her and assured her that justice would be served and the culprit would receive such a punishment that no one would ever dare look at a woman's honor with evil intentions again. After this incident, security inside the palace was tightened further. The Sultan increased surveillance at every door and for every guard, because he understood that a traitor is a threat not just to one woman, but to the entire state. But the end of this story was still to come, because the Sultan wanted the girl's life to not just be limited to justice, but for her honor and future to be secured as well. After the criminal was arrested, examples of Sultan Salahuddin Ayubi's justice began to be cited throughout Egypt. People were amazed that the Sultan caught such a major criminal through just a single shoe. Everyone inside the palace became afraid because they now knew that nothing could be hidden from the Sultan's sight. Meanwhile, the girl was still in mental distress. Although the criminal had been caught, the wound inflicted upon her heart was very deep. The Sultan realized that merely punishing him was not enough. It was also necessary to secure the girl's honor and future. Therefore, he commanded the royal physicians and the women of the palace that the girl should be given special care. After a few days passed, the Sultan called for one of his most loyal and righteous advisors. That man was respected throughout the palace for his integrity and good character. The Sultan suggested that if he wished, he could marry the girl so that her life might be filled with happiness again. The man immediately expressed his consent because he knew of the girl's honor and chastity. A few days later, they were married with simplicity. The Sultan himself attended the wedding and gave many gifts to the girl. Her parents were also invited to the palace. And when her elderly father saw that his daughter had received honor and justice, tears of joy began to flow from his eyes.